I haven't eaten for a long time, so I just...
My 7-year-old grandson stole a 10-cent gum from the candy shop I run. Hearing the unbelievable reason for his actions, I was so shocked that I froze.
I'm sorry.
My husband slapped the gum out of the grandson's hand, who was about to cry while offering it.
I won't forgive you.
His expression was severe and full of anger. Then, in the next moment, he took an even more surprising action. Stop it, please. My scream echoed through the room as I tried to shield the grandson from the husband. I am Syria, 73 years old. My husband Zach, who is 1 year older, and I run a candy shop together. We were both former teachers and wanted to stay involved with children in some way even after retirement, so we renovated the first floor of our house and started a candy shop. The shop became a haven for local children and was always bustling with activity. Our only son, Greg, who is 47 years old, built a house near ours and lives with his wife, Kathy, and their son, Tom. Kathy was also a teacher but retired to become a housewife after getting married. Our son, who works in sales at a large company, always seemed busy, often leaving household matters to his wife. Kathy had a straightforward personality, and the words she said to me soon after their marriage were shocking. I'm afraid of being bullied by my mother-in-law, so I have no intention of associating with you outside of major family events. Unlike me, who was stunned by her unexpected statement, she showed no sign of remorse. At that moment, I felt uneasy about their married life. As Kathy rarely showed her face as she had declared, our son often brought the grandson to our house. Look, Tom, come here. This candy is delicious. Try it.
Oh no, no. Kathy has forbidden it.
What? Why?
She said candy is bad for the body and never to let Tom eat it.
This happened when our grandson reached the age to enjoy candy. Even though I thought it would be good for him, I was unexpectedly refused. She seemed to manage the grandson's life and education with strict control. Knowing her serious and inflexible nature, I couldn't say anything. When Tom turned 5, Kathy became even more determined to prepare him for elementary school entrance exams, increasing her strictness.
I don't think it's necessary to force him to take the exam, but if I say anything, it comes back 100-fold.
Greg couldn't stand up to his wife and was completely under her thumb. I worry about Tom being so tightly controlled at such a young age. Despite my worries, our grandson was always cheerful and excited about the candy in our shop when he visited. Although our son initially hesitated to give him candy, he eventually started sneaking it to him. He seemed to think that a little enjoyment wouldn't hurt.
I love this 10-cent gum. I want to eat 100 of them.
You really love that, don't you? Actually, I loved it when I was a kid too.
Greg began teaching his son how to make bubble gum, and they looked so happy together. If Tom is this happy, it was worth continuing the candy shop. Warm moments flowed that day. However, a few days later, Kathy stormed into our house with a furious expression. What have you done? You let Tom eat candy without my permission? She ranted as if a fuse had been lit. I manage everything Tom eats. I can't believe you let him eat such unhealthy stuff. Kathy, calm down. I apologize for giving him candy without telling you, but the candy here isn't unhealthy. Despite my words, she was too agitated to listen. Why would former teachers lower themselves to run a tiny candy shop? Don't you feel embarrassed? My husband's face darkened upon hearing her words.
Wait a minute. Are you insulting us for running a candy shop?
Despite Zach's angry glare, she acted as if nothing was wrong. Selling items worth only a few cents for a meager profit. It's just a hobby for the elderly. She sneered, completely looking down on us. The shop is about making children smile, not profit. Though anger bubbled inside me, I held it back for Greg and Tom's sake. Tom didn't get into his first choice school for the elementary entrance exam, but he got into the second choice.
Grandpa, Grandma, I passed.
Congratulations, Tom. You worked so hard. While we were happy, Kathy looked displeased. Greg continued to bring the grandson over occasionally, but he was transferred for work and decided to move alone, considering Tom's schooling. After that, Kathy never came to our house, and we couldn't see our grandson anymore. I'm worried about Tom being alone with strict Kathy. Greg's new job was far away and kept him busy, making it hard for him to visit, increasing my worries. As summer vacation began and the shop filled with children, my husband and I worried about Tom. I wonder if he's okay.
Greg said there's nothing to worry about.
Even though Zach said that, my anxiety remained. One day, around lunchtime, the shop was empty, so I asked my husband to mind the store while I prepared lunch inside. Suddenly, I heard my husband's sharp voice from the shop.
Tom, what did you do?
Hearing our grandson's name, I rushed to the shop. There, I found Tom looking down, about to cry, and Zach staring at him sternly. What happened? Without answering, my husband stared at our grandson.
Tell us what you did.
With a furrowed brow, Zach raised his voice, causing Tom to flinch. Shaking, he slowly opened his tightly clenched hand to reveal his favorite 10-cent gum.
I haven't eaten for a long time, and I was so hungry.
Tom, pale and small, wouldn't meet our eyes. Incredibly, our grandson had tried to steal gum. The shock left me paralyzed. I don't believe you would do such a thing without reason. Can you tell us what happened? Hearing my words, tears welled up in his eyes, and he began to cry. I gently patted his back to calm him. Then, he revealed something even more shocking.
Mom always makes me do 4th grade problems, but I'm only in 1st grade, so I can't. When I can't, she gets mad and won't let me eat.
That's terrible. You can't solve problems for older kids. How can you eat then? He survived by eating school lunches, but with summer vacation, he hadn't eaten in 4 days.
Mom always tells me to study and leaves. So I go to the park and drink lots of water to feel full.
Unbelievably, Kathy locked the fridge to prevent him from getting food. Even worse, it seemed she turned off the water main, as there was no water available. In this heat, that's dangerous. Hearing this, my anger towards Kathy intensified.
Grandpa, I'm sorry for stealing.
After finishing his story, Tom tried to return the gum.
I won't forgive this.
Zach, with bloodshot eyes and a red face, slapped the gum from Tom's hand. Then he raised his hand towards Tom's head. Stop. To protect Tom, I instinctively raised my voice. I thought he would harm our grandson, but he didn't.
First, let's have a good meal. You can have the gum afterward.
Zach patted Tom's head gently, smiling warmly. His anger was directed at Kathy, not Tom. Relieved, Tom's stomach growled loudly. Seems you're hungrier now. Let's have lunch. I quickly made Tom's favorite omelet, and he ate to his heart's content.
Grandma, your cooking was really delicious. But the 10-cent gum was yummy too.
Oh my, it really is Tom's favorite, isn't it? Seeing my grandson completely recovered, I was relieved. But at the same time, recalling the detailed story he told me, anger began to boil within me. I can't forgive anyone for putting Tom through something like this. According to my grandson, Kathy often said she was going to see her friends and would be out until the morning. Leaving little Tom alone without giving him any food and going out at night is absolutely unacceptable. I decided to take action against such a daughter-in-law and devised a plan. A week later, I contacted Kathy and told her to bring Tom to the shop. Tom, Grandma has something important to talk about with Mommy. Can you wait at home with Grandpa?
Okay. But, Mommy.
Watching my sulking daughter-in-law's mood, my grandson went into the house. What do you want to talk about? Unlike you old folks, I'm busy. Kathy stood there with her arms crossed, looking irritated. I heard that you've been imposing unreasonable demands on Tom and denying him food when he can't meet them. There's no way his grades will improve with such methods. The moment I denied her way of doing things, her expression changed drastically. Tom couldn't get into his first-choice elementary school, so I'm making him study hard for his middle school exams. I'm just being a bit strict. Don't act like you know everything just because you used to be a teacher. Her face was frightening, with veins popping out on her temples as she glared sharply at me. And I'm making sure he eats properly. Tom's lying. A bit strict? You're going way too far. Holding back my urge to shout, I thrust my phone in front of her. On it, Kathy was seen scolding Tom for not solving problems, laughing that he wouldn't get any food, and locking the fridge before going out. What is this? Kathy was momentarily stunned but then started yelling back in anger. How dare you install hidden cameras in my house? That's illegal. She shouted, ignoring her own actions. Do you think I did this without permission? Greg allowed it. If he sees this, it's all over for you. Upon hearing about her cruel treatment from my grandson, I had immediately called my son and told him everything. We planned together to rescue Tom from his hellish life. Knowing his dire situation, I secretly fed him while Kathy was out. Unaware that her actions were being recorded, Kathy continued mistreating Tom. Please, Syria, don't show that footage to him. If we get divorced, it'll ruin Tom's future. Realizing she was caught red-handed, Kathy changed her attitude and begged me. But my anger towards her was too strong to hold back. Staying with you would be far worse for Tom's future. I'll show Greg all this footage. Seeing that pleading was futile, Kathy clicked her tongue and glared at me with hatred. This is why I hate stubborn old people. Hand over that phone. Thinking she could get rid of the evidence, she lunged at me.
That's enough.
My husband, who had come out to check on us, intervened just in time to protect me from Kathy. Shocked by her reckless behavior, I pressed on. And you often left Tom alone to stay out until morning. What exactly were you doing? Suspecting something, I had investigated and discovered that Kathy was having an affair. I had photographed her entering and leaving a hotel with her lover. When I confronted her with the photos, she turned red with anger instead of being embarrassed. So now you're playing detective? What a waste of your former teacher status. For my precious grandson, I don't need any titles. I'm ready to become a demon for Tom. Though momentarily taken aback by my firm stance, Kathy quickly regained her composure. I planned to stay married until Tom's school fees were paid, but now that I've been found out, there's no point. Showing no remorse, Kathy smirked at me. Anyway, I was going to divorce Greg and be with him eventually. It was time to bring her down to earth. Unfortunately, your plan won't work. Your lover is married too. What? No way. He told me he was single. I had found out her lover was married and had lied to her about being single. I've told him everything. He begged me to keep it a secret from his family and said he'd break up with you. That's a lie. He wouldn't leave me. Kathy was in shock and disbelief. Wake up. You've been deceived. If I lose him, how will I go on? Kathy collapsed to her knees, stunned. I delivered the final blow. Greg is going to take Tom and divorce you. You'll have to live with the consequences alone. Wait a minute. Are you talking about alimony and money? I can't do that. I've been a housewife too long to go back to teaching. Despairing at my words, she fell to the floor, sobbing. Seeing her like that, I felt no sympathy. How can someone who couldn't even take care of their own child have been a teacher? Aren't you ashamed? Hearing my words, Kathy cried even harder. Later, my son and his wife officially divorced. Kathy was ordered to pay $30,000 in alimony and $300 a month in child support. Her affair cost her another $20,000 in compensation, and her lover's family found out, leading to another $20,000 in compensation from her. Burdened by debt, Kathy now works day and night and lives a life of hardship. Meanwhile, with Greg and Tom back home, my days have become busier.
Welcome.
Free and full of energy again, my grandson loves helping out at the shop. I look forward to continuing to protect our shop and living happily with my family. How was this story? Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. See you in the next video.